will choose Jonathan. When I think about Jonathan, I could see a good supporter, a good friend, and encourager. In the book of Samuel, chapter 20, verse 1 through 4, when David was in danger, Jonathan modeled the character of an encourager when David could give nothing in return. That reminds me so much of my dad because he would encourage you and help you even if you couldn't give anything in return.
And if I can relate somebody in the Bible that represents my dad, it would be Stephen. He was a deacon, and he was a faithful man to God and his people. He loved helping his people. If you needed food or advice, he would give it to you. He would give it to you and all that. And that's one person I can relate to my dad because he does the same thing. If you need him, he will try his best.
And the person I chose that represents my father is David in the Bible. David was a great man. David was so successful as a king is that he weaved the relationship he had with God into the very life of people. These attributes are similar to my father's because my father loves God, his children, and his wife. He works and pays the bills. He helps keep this roof over our heads. And he gets a lot of work in to help us with bills and food to eat and water to drink.
Genesis chapter 22, verse 9 and 10. When Abraham reached the place God had told him to go, he set up the altar and he bound his son. He laid the wood and then he bound his son upon the wood. And verse 10, he readies his knife and he's ready to take the life of his son. These two verses explain that Abraham is ready to sacrifice if it's for God. His only son, he's ready to make that large a sacrifice for God, to prove how much he loves God and the fact that he fears God. This reminds me of my father because my dad is also willing to make sacrifices for God and the future of his family. Abraham has leader-like qualities just like my father. My father is great at a lot of things when it comes to cooking, all areas of working, and he always tries his hardest, even when he's tired. He gives it his all. My father, to me, is like Joseph in the Bible. Joseph was a son of Jacob and Rachel. He had many brothers and at least one sister. Even though he was Rachel's firstborn, he was Jacob's 11th son. He was Jacob's favorite, and Jacob made the coat of many colors. Nah, you see, I'm running nice little coat, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the colors of the coat can be represented to my father, the jack of all trades. Each color can be a different type of skill. Now, because of this, both Joseph and my father were treated differently from their family. The brothers despised them. They didn't look at them the same way their father did. Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers. Now my father left to go to a foreign country, this country, and left all his belongings back at home. His brother took in his stuff, took in his car. He was given that car, and I'm not gonna say the name, but that brother beaten it, destroyed it.
If I had to choose someone to resemble my father, it would be Abraham and his traits. Abraham possessed traits useful to individuals desiring to become transformational leaders, which is confidence, courage, concern for others, and willingness to make great sacrifices. My father is full of confidence. He helps others who don't have much and is willing to make great sacrifices for the people he loves. Abraham was an elderly man, yet the Bible states, Genesis 18, chapter 18, verse 6, and Abraham hastened to the tent. Abraham ran into the cattle. When they left, the verse states that Abraham went to send them on their other way. Abraham even showed the guests the courtesy of accompanying them part of the way. This means Abraham was doing these things for these visions he didn't even know, showing that Abraham cared for people, and this shows that he has a good character. And this resembles my father.
The Bible has many role models. The Bible character that represents my dad is David. David is known for defeating Goliath with 5 smooth stones. This shows with confidence and faith in God that no height cannot be reached. With my dad trying to get in shape for a job he really wants, he is showing faith in God by praying and fasting for this job. He is showing confidence by repetitively saying, "This job is mine," when he doesn't feel like exercising to get in shape. And that's why my dad closely resembles.
I just want to say Happy Father's Day and I love you. And the person that describes my father is Samson, because he is very strong and he has a lot of strength in his hair. And the scripture that I chose was Judges 15:16, and it says that he has slain 1,000 men, and by his strength and how strong he is. And that is what my father is. My father is strong because at his job you have to be strong. You have to have a lot of strength to lift things and do all of that. And say, for instance, if somebody trying to hurt us or anything, he'll take them down. He will protect us, and he will do everything for his family.
My dad is an amazing dad. I compare my dad to Noah. I chose Noah because Noah was a great dad. He took care of his children and wife. My dad is like Noah because he loves his family. Noah was protective of his family, and so is my dad, protective of his family. My dad makes sure we have everything we need, and like Noah, my dad is a hard worker. Noah was far from perfect, and my dad is far from perfect. But Noah was humble and protective over his family. He bravely carried out the task God assigned him. Modern-day fathers may often feel like they're in a thankless role, but God is always pleased by their devotion, no matter what people may think. Happy birthday.
The person I chose from the Bible that is like my dad is David. In the Bible, when David knocked down Goliath, he was protecting and standing up for his people. My dad is similar because he stands up for his family and protects us. He's also a strong man. For example, on his job when he's lifting things, he's also strong mentally because he always keeps a smile on his face and he's always laughing. Happy Father's Day and I love you.
If there's any character in the Bible that reminds me of my dad, it would have to be David, but specifically the younger David. We all know the story of David and Goliath and how David was just a young boy going up against this huge warrior, and how none of the Philistines would have even imagined for David to win this battle. But by the power of God, David defeated Goliath with just a single shot to the head with the stone. My father had a speech impediment when he was younger, and it hindered many dreams of his. This impediment was similar to Goliath in David's story, but speaking for him, I can only imagine would have been like facing a giant. But like David, my father was able to defeat his giant with a single